So you bought a new Mac or are looking to improve and level up your experience with your current Mac? Well, today I'll go over the top 10 tips and tricks that will not only make your Mac more enjoyable to use, but also improve the performance. Before we begin, if you do want to see more videos just like this one, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Alright, so one of the first things I do with my new Mac is improve the display. The display on these new MacBooks is something special. The display on my 14-inch MacBook Pro is truly impressive. But you can still change some things to make the experience even better. So to begin, we'll open up System Preferences. One of the ways we can do this is by clicking on the Apple logo at the top left of the screen and then clicking on System Settings. Once inside of System Preferences, tap on Displays. So one of my favorite things to enable is More Space. Essentially what this does is it changes the display resolution to make everything on the display smaller. This includes text and applications. The main reason I like to turn it on is it allows me to fit more on the display. For example, more applications and more text. This can be handy if you're working off one display. So another setting I recommend most people change is auto brightness. Or to be specific, turn off auto brightness. Auto brightness is a great feature and I love to use it on my iPhone, but when it comes to the Mac, I like to turn it off. The reason for this is with my Mac, I'm normally using it at my desk. So I can simply leave the brightness the same without having to worry about adjusting it. Not to mention, having a consistent brightness while editing photos and videos is very important. The final display feature to mention is True Tone. True Tone is great, as it matches your Mac's color temperature to match your surroundings, leading to less strain on your eyes. True Tone, however, does change the colors shown on the screen, reducing the display's color accuracy. So when doing color sensitive work, such as editing photos and videos, remember to turn it off. So the next thing we're going to do is improve the trackpad. Macs have some of the best trackpads on the market, but just like your display, there are still some things we can do to make it even better. So once again, we're going to open up System Preferences, scroll to the bottom and click on Trackpad. To adjust it, simply drag the slider to make it how slow or fast you like. Personally, I have mine set to the max as I like to be able to quickly move my mouse pointer around. For some, that may be too fast, so just play around with it until you find a setting that you like. The next thing we're going to do is adjust the click feel. Just like before, we're going to slide the slider until we find a setting that best suits you. Personally, I have my click set to medium. So looking just below the click feel slider, there is a tab called Secondary Click. Essentially what this is right click. By default it's set to a 2-finger click, but you may prefer to set it so you're clicking the bottom right of the trackpad, more similar to Windows. Personally, I prefer the 2-finger click, mainly because I've gotten used to it. But yeah, play around with those settings as everyone has different preferences. So a feature I use on a daily basis and recommend everyone turning on is Hot Corners. To enable Hot Corners, open up System Preferences, head over to Desktop and Dock, and then scroll down to the bottom where we will find Hot Corners. So Hot Corners can be extremely helpful, as they allow you to assign a task for when you move your Mac pointer to a certain corner of the screen. For example, when I move my pointer to the bottom left, my Mac will go to sleep. I find this very handy as I can quickly put my Mac to sleep to save on battery. Another hot corner I have assigned is Quick Note in the bottom right. I find it very convenient to be able to quickly bring up a notepad, as it allows me to take notes on a video I'm watching. One tip I do have is not to set hot corners to the top 2 corners of the screen. This is because you're always accessing that menu bar and you don't want to be triggering actions all the time. Notifications are great, but they can also be very annoying. So one thing I recommend doing with your Mac and all of your Apple products is organizing notifications, so that only important and essential apps can distract you from what you're doing. So staying in System Preferences, head down to the Notification tab, and inside of that we have a list of all your applications. Most likely, pretty much all of these applications will have notifications turned on. So I recommend going through this list and turning off pretty much all notifications except the essential ones. As not only is this going to reduce battery life, as your Mac is always going off, they are just plain annoying and distracting. So to turn off notifications, simply tap on the app you want to disable them for, then flick off the allow notifications at the top of the page. So another beneficial thing to do on your Mac is customize your dock just the way you like it. So once again, we're going to go back into System Preferences and click on Desktop and Dock. So the first thing I recommend doing here is disable Show Recent Applications in Dock. Personally, I find this really annoying, as recent applications stay in your dock and clog up space, even if you don't want them there. So to disable this, we're going to scroll down and disable Show Recent Applications in Dock. Much better. So the next thing I do to make my dock more my taste is to customize the apps that are on it. So I open up system preferences. No, just kidding. We don't have to do that this time. Instead, we're going to simply drag applications you want onto it and applications you don't want off of it. Lastly, I like to resize my dock so it takes up less room on my screen. So to do this, just grab the vertical line next to the bin and drag. Personally, I keep my dock quite small as it takes up less room on the screen and looks much cleaner. So if you're anything like me, you have files and clutter all over your Mac. So a great way to organize the clutter on your desktop is to use stacks. Stacks groups all of your similar files together. For example, all of your photos will go into one stack and documents into another. So how do you enable this? Simply right click on your desktop, tap on Use Stacks, and there you go. Looks much better already. So now that you've learned heaps of settings, let's move to another essential part of the Mac to learn. And that of course is gestures. The first gesture I'm going to cover is switching between desktops. To switch between desktops, simply place 3 fingers on your trackpad and swipe either left or right. This is very quick and personally saves me heaps of time as you can quickly switch back and forth between apps and different desktops. The next gesture is Mission Control. Mission Control is essentially where you can see all of your open apps and desktops and quickly switch between them. So to get to Mission Control, place 3 fingers on your trackpad and quickly swipe up. So now we're in Mission Control. So once in Mission Control, you can drag apps around, use split screen and add new desktops. So another gesture on the Mac is used to open the notifications panel. The notifications panel is obviously where you can see all of your notifications, but also where you can access your widgets to quickly see things at a glance. To open up this panel, simply place 2 fingers on the right side of your trackpad and swipe in towards the center. I use this feature all the time to quickly check my messages, read the news, or just check the weather. So the last essential gesture I'm going to cover is to open the Launchpad. So to open Launchpad, you can simply go down into the dock and click on the Launchpad button. But a far quicker alternative is to place 4 fingers on the trackpad and drag in towards the center. So next, let's talk about keyboard shortcuts. So let's start with some shortcuts you probably already know. Quitting applications. So to quit an application, all you have to do is right click on the app in the dock and click on Quit. A far quicker way to do this is to press Command Q, and just like that, we quit Safari. Spotlight search is a very important part of the Mac, allowing you to quickly search the web, open applications, and access documents and photos stored on your Mac. So to open up Spotlight search, you can press on the magnifying glass in your taskbar. Or a far quicker way to do this would be to use the keyboard shortcut. Hold down Command and then press space. Spotlight search will now open. The next shortcut is taking screenshots, and this can be done by pressing Command-Shift-4 and then dragging your mouse to take a screenshot of a certain part of the screen. Or alternatively, pressing Command-Shift-3 will take a screenshot of the entire screen. This is one I bet you didn't know. You can actually adjust brightness in smaller increments by holding down Option-Shift and then pressing the brightness control buttons. You can now dial in your brightness just how you like it. Oh yeah, the same can also be done with the volume buttons. So there are my top 10 Mac tips. If I did miss any, let me know in the comments below, along with any other questions you may have. If you did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing to see more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.